Hi there, Guy Fratelloni here, and I've gotten out a special item that's in my collection. This is the Forgotten Realms campaign setting. This originally sold in the early to mid 90s, probably for about $30, and inside it you get everything that you essentially need to start a long-running campaign. A campaign is a Dungeons and Dragons game that you know you're going to be playing on the same world with the same characters, the same locations, and unless you're really into traveling, the DM will pick out a spot on the world that he thinks is interesting, and the characters will start the game there and eventually travel away, or they'll perhaps take part in a city campaign and stay in one place most of the time. This has everything to help you achieve that. Back in the old days, we had box sets. Everything today is $50, $60, $70 books. But the box sets were pretty good. You got a lot of bang for your buck. If I can open this with one hand here. Okay. Yeah, this thing is not in shrink wrap. I did intend on using it, but I only used it probably for a little while. So this is a book, we'll say book 1, Running the Realms, and it describes and helps what you're getting inside, and it also helps the maybe starting out dungeon master by giving him tips and tricks for running his game, tells you what's essentially important. In this book, it's got, I'll kind of do it back to front, it's got the gods and stuff in it. Well, these are all the gods in detail, and it's not really important right away, but as clerics advance, you're probably going to want to have some quests for the clerics and maybe the clerics' followers to recover some ancient items and stuff for the church. In that way, he'll be able to go off and make his own church or temple. Next thing we have, look at this, we came right to it. We've got NPCs in the game, and as a longtime dungeon master, I don't really recommend players in your game running into some of these characters. Like, they might try to steal Twinkle or one of his other magic items from him. I just, again, because everybody knows what some of these characters have, I don't recommend ever inserting them into your own game. But it does tell you a lot. They might hear about them. There's also some character classes here, the Harpers. I think that's a type of fighter bard or maybe a wizard bard. I don't know if that character class is in here. But anyway, it gives you a timeline. You can set the game so they play in the past or play as currently as it goes up to. There's some movement tables and some other things here for the Dungeon Master, which obviously would be important. Oh, on the back of this was interesting. They had all the adventures and everything that you could buy and add to what you were trying to do in your campaign. Of course, TSR or whoever owned the game at the time wanted your money. Here's a grand tour of the realms, and this is probably the thickest book in the set. It describes just about everywhere that your players might want to go on the map. There are some cities in great detail. There's some encounter areas that maybe the players should not see this book, but it gives you hints on what monsters and treasures and lore that might be in certain areas. Very important. Finally, we have Shadowdale. This is obviously written by Ed Greenwood. This is one of his most beloved towns and areas of the realms. And this probably describes, look at that, table of contents here in the back. It's got some encounter areas and adventure areas. And I think, look at that, it's got a lot. It's mainly, this could be where you start your campaign from. It's got a lot of early adventures and the like. It describes the town. Here's a good map of the area, Shadowdale and vicinity. So I think a lot of people would have started from that. It's easier than having to say write everything from scratch. I'm one of those guys, I like to know every nook and cranny of the area that I'm working with. But I still would probably use that. I didn't. I used my own area, but here's just one of the many maps in it. I think you get 4 or 5 maps inside. After the maps, there are shields, emblems, and symbols depicting some of the gods, some of the coats of arms of knights, and some of the symbols that certain cults, certain organizations use. All of them are fairly important, but not important for you to use right away. I thought that, these I think look like symbols that some of the gods would use. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. A long time ago, there was a fight between the gods, and I think this new box set reflected that. Some of the gods disappeared, or were maybe reborn a different way. Yeah, these are all different gods. This I thought was drow symbols, but I don't think it is. I think it's some other things. But anyway, this set is excellent. It's worth picking up. And again, you're not going to find anything like this for sale any longer. The hardcover books are fine, but you're really not going to get the same feeling from having the books be separate. You buy a book today, and everything is there for the players. Believe me, I know. The players want to know everything about everything, and you can't keep things away from them. In the old days, you'd have this. What player would want to buy that? It was, again, like $30, and you don't want them, I'm not going to say cheating, but you don't want them to know too much before they're sprung with the information on the table, during play. Anyway, that's the Forgotten Realms campaign setting. This is actually the 3rd version of the campaign setting. There was an earlier version, and then there was an intermediate version that was almost as similar as the first, but it had like a gold box. It's rare. I've actually got one, but it's got some damage to it. Even though I've never opened it, it still has some damage. I just wanted to show you this one because this is probably the one most commonly found. You've got, I think that's Elminster on the cover. I hope that's the right name I just told you. But anyway, yeah, this one's exciting to use. And I think they're probably still available on eBay, probably between $75 to $100 to $150, depending on their condition. Whether these are in reprint or at, I forget the name of it, but you can buy reprints of some of the items at some of the sites. If you just look it up, you can find it. It would be in probably a hardcover book version of it, and you wouldn't be able to pull pages out. You'd literally have to cut things out of it. But at least they're cheap. They're like $20, $30, $40. So you have that available to you if you want the same thing as this. But yeah, it's a good thick box. And they give you just a lot in it. It was really good for its time. Ed Greenwood and Jeff Grubb. All right. Good night.